Hi, I'm Yvonne Anderson, co-founder and CEO of Santevia Water Systems, and I'm here with my sidekick Kalani, and we have a special guest today on Giving Tuesday. And our guest today is Jeff Golby, and he is the CEO of Axe for Water. They are our partner in helping to eradicate water poverty. So welcome, Jeff.
Thank you so much for having me.
So tell us a little bit about Axe for Water.
Yeah, for sure. So at Axe for Water, right now, at least, we are tackling not just one, but two of some of the biggest problems facing humanity, really. On one hand, we've got the global water crisis, which affects 1 in 4 people in Uganda who walk on average 3 kilometers every single day to and from the swamp to fetch water that is disease filled and dirty for everything from hand washing to drinking to bathing to cooking with. And that water robs them of what little income they earn because they're using it to spend on expensive medication. It keeps their children from going to school. It keeps their women from meaningful and productive labor, and it really prevents their whole community from thriving. And then on top of that, we have the COVID-19 pandemic.
Unbelievable.
And can you imagine, being told almost for a year now, living in water poverty and being told for almost a year now that it's critical to wash your hands and it's critical to have clean water, but not having clean water, not having a hand washing station, not having even soap or hygiene training to do that with. The situation for young girls like Edwin that I met just at the start of March, it's becoming increasingly dangerous every single day, which is why we find ourselves somewhat at the kind of right place at the right time right now with partners like you giving us a big hand.
Well, thank you. There's just so many cool things that I've seen that you guys have done recently. And one of them was this cool tippy tap.
Yeah.
Like when I think of how innovative
Yeah.
Axe for Water has been with COVID, I mean, it's a time when, as an organization, we've had to pivot, but you guys have had to pivot too.
Totally.
So explain what a tippy tap is. I was just so thrilled with these tippy tap things.
Sure, I should have brought my supplies. We have an all local team in Uganda that we've been partnering with for over 30 years now, and really, as much as I wish I could claim credit for it, they have been really leading all of the innovations and all of the pivots. So, like everybody, when COVID-19 hit Uganda and Canada, we had to pivot as well. And one of those kind of key innovations have been these emergency health kits, which we've distributed to thousands of families across the countryside. And included in that health kit is all of the materials you need to build a hand washing kit, which is this tippy tap, which is essentially a small jerry can, some sticks, and the nails and string needed that you can string it up and push down with your foot on the string, tips the jerry can over, and clean water comes out and allows you to, there you go, there's a picture up on the screen, and allows you to wash your hands with soap without having to touch any of the apparatus there. And then when you're done, you just lift up COVID hit. And then what our team actually did, because in some ways, because the Canadian community was so generous, is we were able to take some extra funds and move from that and layer onto that actually soap making workshops. So instead of just continuing to hand out soap, we've actually been working in the communities to teach women in particular how to make soap using materials that they have at their disposal. And this has done two things. It's both given them practical hope and security for their families, but it's also really helped them form a means of economic benefit for their families. They formed local business cooperatives amongst themselves and sold that soap in the marketplace, which has been really, really exciting for us to see.
I just was thrilled when I saw that. Like the fact that they've created these micro businesses.
Totally.
And as a female entrepreneur, that gets me so excited when I see an opportunity for the women to get out there to create a micro business to support their family. And at the same time, they're really battling COVID, right?
Yeah.
They're washing their hands. They're teaching people how to wash their hands. And when they supply the soap that they've made,
totally.
How cool.
You can't plan this stuff out. And obviously, we'll dive more into it, but like 2020 has been hard for everybody. But it's been so encouraging to see these like really positive moments of real significant impact on the ground because of these innovations that are happening in the field.
at this time of year, normally I would be donning my my black dress and going out to events like the Axe for Water Gala.
Totally.
And so for the last couple of years, our team has gone to the Axe for
Water.
The Axe for Water Gala, and we've had such a fantastic time.
Mhm.
And I thought this year, and I know it's been a big source of fundraising for you guys.
Yeah.
So this year, of course, we're not going. And so I was kind of looking at that and going, what are we going to do? And you guys came up with this amazing opportunity for us as a company and us as a greater the Santevia family to engage with you on the jerry can project.
Yeah.
And so, like, explain the jerry can project, because I was really, when I first saw it, I went, oh, this is cool.
For sure. Yeah, thanks. So the jerry can project, actually the origin story of it was a young boy named Grayson in Edmonton last year who stuck a jerry can underneath his Christmas tree. This is a true story, completely unprompted by us. And at all of his family's Christmas parties last year, raised money for Axe to bring a family clean water.
Cool.
And I got that story mid-December last year, and I thought, this is really cool. And then during the COVID-19 pandemic, we saw all of these families putting hearts up on their windows and as a show and a sign of support and solidarity. And in Uganda, what you see across the country are these big, iconic yellow jerry cans. They line up the streets, they line families' homes. And what we wanted to do is really just in some ways try to connect families and companies and people here with families and companies families in Uganda. And the Jerry Can Project is our way to do that. So what we're doing is we are inviting families or companies and individuals to raise enough money to bring a lifetime of clean, safe water to families in Uganda. And then we have sent our local photographer out to take a portrait of that family with their jerry can. And then we are sending that portrait to the company or to the family here in BC that's raised that money. And we're hopefully then sending the portrait of the company or the family here in BC back over to Uganda. So there's some way, a little bit of a two-way exchange in some ways to just try to bring us all a little more connected during a time when it's so easy to become distant. So that's the Jerry Can Project in a nutshell.
That is, when I heard that, I just got so excited, and I thought, well, Santevia, we're going to do this.
Yeah, it's so awesome to hear.
I know. And when I presented it to everybody at Santevia, they went, yes.
Yeah, so great.
This is really cool. And so I think $500, that's all it takes for a lifetime. I mean, it's hard for us in North America to really comprehend that $500 will give somebody clean drinking water for a lifetime.
We'll give a family.
A whole family. Wow. That is just, it's just hard to believe. So we decided that we were going to do one. We were going to do two families.
Yeah.
And so we as a group, and oh my gosh, I'm looking, and already you can give at santevia.com/give. We've got one family covered.
Yeah,
that is so cool. So we've already got one
awesome.
Family covered, and we're working on the second family now. And Santevia, we are going to match that.
That's awesome.
So that means we'll have 4 families that we are going to give the gift of clean drinking water. And then there's some matching going on through Axe. So
at Axe we have another family foundation that has offered to kind of match the whole total. When they heard that we couldn't do our normal water bash or no more gala this year, they've offered to kind of step in and match kind of the whole total for our event, for our fundraiser today. And that's super exciting as well.
So that means that our staff, our Santevia family. So if you're out there, we'd love to have you join us at santevia.com/giving. And you can donate and join us as we give clean drinking water to a family in Uganda for a whole, for their whole life. I mean, it just blows me away that for $500, we can provide clean drinking water for a lifetime. I mean, so many families this Christmas will spend more than $500 in both Canada and the US on Christmas gifts.
On wine.
For one occasion.
Yeah.
And these guys, what it means to them
Yeah.
is
And I'll tell you, we just got the photos back from our Ugandan photographer, who's just an amazing photographer there. And he spent the day out meeting these families and hearing their stories, getting their first and last names. And he just sent me a WhatsApp just saying, as a photographer, I rarely get to interact in such a personal, unique way with these families and capture their names and stuff. And it was just such a gift to be able to do that, is what he sent me this WhatsApp message to. And he thanked us for the opportunity to do that. And, just going over these photos and printing them and framing them for fundraisers like you guys. And it was such a joy for us to do. And so, they're real stories, they're real families, they're real people. And wow, it does make a huge
and that's the cool thing. They're real people.
People.
You get to go to Uganda. And I'm looking forward to, when this COVID thing's over, I'm going to Uganda to meet some of these families. But Jeff, you've been many times. So what's it like?
Yeah, I mean, Uganda is a staggeringly beautiful country. I think I had heard that before. I went my very first time back in end of 2015, 2016. But it wasn't until I went that I was like, oh my gosh, this is a beautiful country. These are people with beautiful, real stories, with real hopes, real dreams, just like me and my kids. What they lack is clean water. Like that's kind of it, right? And they have the same work ethic. In fact, as I've said to you before, over 400 volunteers from the local community come out, dig trenches and bury pipe and work on these projects. They are eager to see clean water brought to their village. In fact, they're contributing not just in labor, they're contributing financially as well to these projects. They just lack the clean water. And so it's such an incredible country to work in and partner with.
So we talk a lot about water poverty.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how many people in the world are in water poverty?
Yeah, that's a great question. So on average, the kind of general figure we say is about 664 million people.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a huge, what
number.
Percentage of the population is in water poverty? That's probably
You're gonna put me on the spot.
20% or more.
Yeah, probably. I'm terrible at math. But
that's a lot of people in water poverty. So explain what water poverty means. How does not having clean drinking water put people in poverty?
That's a great question. So water poverty is a term that actually somebody that was working with us came up with, I believe, and somebody out there can, reach out if we're wrong about this. But they came up with the term water poverty because not having access to clean, safe drinking water really does affect the full spectrum of one's life. It affects, as I said earlier, your kid's ability to earn an education, because generally speaking, you are spending your money on expensive typhoid medication or other medication, or your girls and boys are spending their days, going to and from the swamp collecting water.
Oh, so they can't go to school?
They can't go to school.
Oh, got it.
They can't go to school, or they go to school until they hit puberty, and then there's no clean, safe latrines, or there's no clean, safe water for them, and so they have to drop out. It affects, gender rights, because the burden of water collection falls primarily on women.
Yeah.
It affects the overall economic development of the community, but so much more than economics. It's not just about financial poverty. It's the whole spectrum of what it means to be human. It's just about human dignity.
No, it's so true.
And so that's why we use the term water poverty, to try to encapsulate as best as we can that spectrum.
So today's Giving Tuesday.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And explain Giving Tuesday.
Yeah, Giving Tuesday is one of those days that has been set up probably about 12 years ago. And it's been declared by the UN. Actually, the city of Vancouver has declared it a day as well. So I hear. And it's much bigger in the States, but it is growing, as I said to you earlier, about 25% year over year in terms of the number of Canadians that participate in the actual day. And it is actually the second biggest single day of giving in a calendar year. So it's a pretty big day for most charities in Canada.
That's amazing. And I know that there are some people during COVID that have had pretty tough times here locally, but there's also some people that have actually done pretty well.
That's
I mean, we think of all of our, a lot of people in specific businesses, Amazon and all of the other businesses where, and so
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that actually do have extra right now because they can't get out to go to dinner. They can't do all these things. And so I really encourage people, Giving Tuesday, this is a real opportunity for us to reach in and give. And
now, Jeff, you have a video that you have just filmed. Can you tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll watch that?
Yeah, for sure. So this was one of the stories. It's totally different from any movie we've shot before. When we met this family here, and started to hear this story just unscripted and kind of up close and personal, we kind of knew it was the right story in some ways for 2020 because it's unlike anything. I don't know. It just felt close and personal, and we really wanted to share the hopes and dreams of this young family, and kind of in some ways how a lack of clean, safe water is preventing some of those hopes and dreams from coming true. They live in the community where we hope, if we raise the money, to break ground on it, basically the first or second week of January. So they live in Muhaha, in one of the communities that we hope to break ground on in January. And it's just a really beautiful story, in my opinion, just as a father and as somebody who has a family, of how clean, safe water can connect us all.
Ndukora nyenda kuba musaho kuyamba abantu. Ninkunda kusoma ebitabo. Ekaito ninjiyamba indukutahamiza. Ngezo kurikiriza abazeyi banje eki bakungamba. Ninkunda kuzana akapiira n'abanywana banje. Kidomora nkyemera munonga kyakirimu amaizi.
Amaizi garahare n'eka yanje kandi omuhanda ogu tukurabamu nimbo nyuma y'edakiika 30 omu kasese nimweza nyenda abaana banje bakure begire emicwe mirungi
okubisaho eka yanje hamwe n'orutookye. Nkunda kuta abaana banje ahaisomero kwenda kuba kwabo kwanye nkyakare kube kurungi.
wow, that was so amazing. Just makes your heart just pour out for these people. Like these jerry cans are pretty,
They're heavy.
yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us about the jerry can.
Yeah. So, I mean, as I said before, you see these yellow iconic jerry cans that just line the street and line these communities. And that is what people go to and from the swamp every day, or to and from the water source every day.
And the kids put something in the top of them. What do they put?
Yeah, so it's a big banana to plug the hole.
Oh, you're kidding.
And,
They use a banana.
They use a banana because they'll lose the lid, or it never was there. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, and the jerry can itself weighs about 40 pounds. So it's when full.
Wow.
And so it's a big heavy weight. And of course, the banana doesn't keep the water in totally sealed, and so the water's jostling around, and it's tough to kind of keep all sealed, and it makes for a really awkward weight when you're carrying it in the uneven terrain.
Did you try it when you were in Uganda?
So I do it every time, generally speaking. Every time I go, I try to meet a family. I try to do the walk, and every time I go, I pick up the jerry can, and I just, and it always hits me. You'd think I'd get used to the weight, but it's still a surprise. And also, the communities that we've been working in as of late are about 6,000 feet above sea level. So it's quite just that elevation is also just like a bit of a jar to the system when you're not used to it, and you're walking on like narrow cat tracks. And so it's a lot to get used to, for sure.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's pretty amazing. Yeah, I know. I was hiking on the weekend, and you start getting to the top of that mountain, and you really you feel your breath. I can't imagine having 40 pounds on top of my head.
Yeah,
as well. That's pretty amazing.
It's a full experience for sure.
So
can you talk to us a little bit about the 100 days program that Santevia has on?
Yeah. So Santevia, like the jerry can program, this is a fabulous summer or Christmas program that we're doing, but all year round we work with Axe for Water on our 100 days of clean drinking water. So this is our Santevia Mina pitcher, and for each and every one of our Santevia platforms that we call them, our Mina pitcher, our classic pitcher, and our countertop, we give 100 days of clean drinking water to Axe for Water, and our goal is 100,000 years of clean drinking water to give by the year 2030. So we're really stoked on that goal, and you can see we've almost made 3.5 million days of clean drinking water so far, and we're well on our way to that goal of 100,000.
That's so great.
And 100,000 years of clean drinking water, because I am so believing in like clean drinking water, the WASH programs. Talk to us about what WASH is and how that came about.
Yeah. Well, first, thank you so much. I mean, it's commitments like the ones that Santevia are giving that really help us to do long-term sustainable solutions to a problem like the world water crisis. Like, that's not a one and done kind of solution, and it's these kind of commitments that just really help us to do the kind of work that lasts literally for 30 years and then some. The taps aren't turning off anytime soon. So WASH stands for Water and Health, Sanitation, Hygiene, and really that's the whole package that we look. Bringing clean water to a community is a fantastic and critical first step, but clean water is really only as good as all of the education and the hygiene that surrounds it. And so when we come into a community, we're trying to bring clean water and hygiene training, things like washing your hands, ensuring that clean water goes into a clean jerry can, ensuring that clean water is used for washing your hands after you use the latrine, ensuring that your food is cleaned with clean water and then has a clean place to rest. It's all of the stuff that, you and I take for granted, but if your parents and your parents' parents and their parents' parents have just never had as sort of basic practices, you wouldn't really know. So we work in families, in trading centers, and in the schools to teach these foundational principles for life, really, for a healthy whole life. And then we add on to that latrine building in the schools and partner with the families so that they can build their own latrines at their homes as well.
And you know what I really like about Axe is most of the people involved are people that actually live in Uganda. They are local native people. This isn't just a bunch of white folks coming in. These are locals that really, in fact, even your engineers building your systems, like, how did you develop that?
Yeah, I mean, it's been over the past 30 years. We've been working in Uganda, and so we have an all local team. Our engineers, our project manager actually just celebrated today his 20th year with our organization.
wow.
So it's kind of a
Cool.
20th year celebration, Richard. Yeah, they are incredible. And as I said, they are really the backbone of the organization. And then they partner with 300 to 400 local community volunteers on any given water project who are out from the village themselves that will be benefiting from this water project, out digging trenches and burying pipes. So it's been a long, 30 years worth of building up a reputation in the region, of making connections, and of hiring great staff who then hire great staff. I can't take credit.
Well, the sign right behind us, it says, "We believe water can change people's lives." And I actually really believe it. And one of the key reasons I partnered with ACTS and Santevia is because you guys live it. You don't just talk about it, you actually live it.
Yeah.
And I think that is so cool, because one of our key phrases is Santevia water products are healthy for all, but they're shared by all. And that is so important to us. And that's why every time somebody purchases one of our Santevia water systems, we give away the 100 days of clean drinking water.
Yeah.
And that's so important to us, because it is healthy for you, for me, to drink Santevia water, but we need to share. And sharing with people in water poverty, I would love to see us in our lifetime say we've eradicated water poverty.
Totally.
And wouldn't that just be a cool thing?
Totally. Yeah, absolutely.
So join with us. This is Giving Tuesday. Join with us at santevia.com/give. Give to our Jerry Can program, or purchase a Santevia water system. And remember, every time you do, we give 100 days of clean drinking water to someone, to ask for water for people in water poverty. We really touch real families in Uganda. And Jeff, thanks for coming. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.